right. Hi. Hello, friends. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. And welcome to day one of the Embodiment Series. I'm excited to have you join in on this series with me. It's a 5-day series where we are really going to focus on embodiment, what that looks like on our mat and off of our mats as well. So a couple things before we get started today. Please always remember that I am just here as your guide. I really just want you to tune into your breath and your body and follow what feels good for you. Don't feel like you have to do everything I say. If your body or your heart is leading you into something else, please follow and explore that. Secondly, if you are a music person, I highly encourage you to play some music. If you're doing this at home or wherever you're doing this, I just think that music is a great way to connect with the body as well as yoga. So the combo is pretty killer. Awesome. So let's go ahead and get started today in Tabata Konasana. So it's reclined bound angle pose. So lying down on your back and bringing the soles of the feet to touch and letting the knees fall out to the side. So you'll feel a lot of sensation in the inner hips here. So the further you scoot your toes towards the end of your mat, kind of lengthening that angle, the less pressure you should have on your hips. So find a position that feels good. And once you've kind of taken the time to find the sweet spot that feels best for your body today, take some deep breaths. Allow the body to just melt into the earth beneath you. Taking this moment to consciously leave behind anything that was filling the mind before this moment. Just letting it exit the body with every exhale. Let's take 3 conscious breaths here with an open mouth exhale. So on this first breath, as you exhale, I want you to release something from the past that you've been carrying up to this moment that is no longer serving you. Take a big, deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. With this second breath, we're going to release any stories or ideas about the future that we have floating around in our minds, which has not yet happened. Take a big, deep breath in. Exhaling the future. And on this third conscious breath here, on this exhale, focus on bringing your awareness to the present moment, the only moment that we have, the only moment that is real right now. So take a big inhale here, your biggest one yet. And exhale to land here. Start to close the mouth now, inhaling and exhaling only through the nose. And beginning to activate that Ujjayi breath if it's in your practice. Creating a slight constriction in the back of your throat as you exhale through your nose. Hearing the sound of the ocean. And feeling the body move as if it were a wave in the ocean. You can feel the body filling up, almost like you're building up a wave as you inhale. And on every exhale, it's like feeling that wave crash as the water comes back to a normal, flat. Riding this conscious wave of breath. Feeling it activate your life force, your prana. And feeling into that prana, feeling the connection it provides you to yourself and to the world around you. Taking about 5 more breaths in this shape, riding your waves of prana. Connecting to that source within that is the gateway to the present moment and to the world around you. On your next exhale, place the hands on the outside of the knees and slowly start to push the knees together as if you were closing a book, very carefully. Bring both knees into the chest, give them a big squeeze here. And slowly start to straighten the left leg towards the ground, pulling that right knee in towards the chest. And exhale, lift the right foot up towards the ceiling for a reclined hamstring stretch. Grabbing either behind the hamstring, maybe at the calf. Maybe you can grab the toe here. Extending energy out through the foot, flexing the foot up towards the sky. Keeping the shoulders on the ground. Slowly, intentionally sending your prana, your breath, to this back part of the body. On your next exhale, start to bring that left foot in, bringing the foot towards the ground, bending the knee. Place the right ankle on top of the left quad, coming in for a reclined figure 4 here. So threading the needle and clasping either behind that left hamstring or left shin. And pulling that right knee in towards your chest, keeping the right foot flexed. Maybe you find some gentle rocking movements here. On your next exhale, start to straighten that left leg back onto the ground, coming into a spinal twist. So pulling that right knee over the left side of the body, moving the hips over to the right to make some space, and slowly exhaling that knee down towards the ground, across the body. Wringing out any old energy, old tension. Taking the moment to realize how good and detoxing these twisting postures feel. On your next breath in, come back onto your back. Squeeze both knees in towards the chest once again. And on your next exhale, start to straighten that right leg out onto the ground, pulling the left knee in by itself towards the chest, and lifting the left foot up towards the sky, for a hamstring stretch on the left side. So not only are you pushing up through the foot that's pointed up towards the sky, you're also pushing through the foot on the floor, creating energy in both the legs, shooting out through both of the feet, feeling those opposing reactions in the body. On your next exhale, bring that right foot to the ground, bending the knee, placing the left ankle on top of the right quad, coming into reclined figure 4 on the left leg. And taking a moment here to notice maybe one side of the body is tighter than the other. Remembering that we don't judge ourselves when we notice these things. We just take it in as information. Can you have these thoughts and just notice them? Practicing non-attachment. And on your next exhale, start to straighten that right leg back down to the ground, keeping that left knee bent in towards the chest, and bringing it over the body for a spinal twist. Moving the hips to the left a little bit, and slowly bringing that left knee towards the ground. Feeling into sensations here more than exact cues. So maybe that knee doesn't touch the ground, but feeling into what feels good here. One more breath here. On your next exhale, bring both knees back in towards the chest, giving them a big hug. And slowly start to roll up and down the length of the spine on your mat. Gaining some momentum. And when you feel ready, flip over the feet, coming into a tabletop position. Finding a neutral spine here in your tabletop. Toes can be tucked or the feet can be placed on the ground. As you inhale here, start to lift the heart forward, dropping the belly. And as you exhale, rounding the spine, pulling the belly in and up towards the spine. Inhale, lifting that heart forward, cow pose. Exhale, rounding the spine, pushing up through the back, cat pose. Finding your rhythm between these cat-cow movements. Taking this time to trust yourself, to trust your body. And maybe you veer a little bit from these specific movements. Maybe there's some other shapes your body wants to take in tabletop today. New shapes to explore, to try out. Dropping all expectations and connecting to that inner voice within. Two more breaths here. And come back to a neutral spine. Start to lift the right arm out in front of you and straighten the left leg back behind you. Pausing here in this shape, feeling the fingertips shoot forward as the leg is shooting backward, creating traction in the spine. Engaging the belly, pulling the belly button up in towards the back of the body. Maybe you stay here, or maybe you reach that right arm back to grab the foot, coming into a bird dog. Lifting the heart up. On your next exhale, straighten that arm and leg once again. And bring the hand and foot back down to the mat. And let's take this shape on the other side. So start by lengthening that left arm out and the right foot back, pulling the pelvis forward, engaging the core, finding a firm foundation here in this shape with the body being pulled forward and back at the same time. And on your next breath, if it feels good, reach back, grab that foot, open up the heart, bird dog pose. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, straighten that arm, straighten the leg. Bring them back down to the mat. Send the hips back for child's pose. Sending the hips back down to meet the heels. Stretching out the lower back. Staying connected to that ocean breath, the Ujjayi breath we activated at the beginning of our practice. Taking this moment to reset. On your next breath in, come back to a tabletop position and begin to straighten the legs, sending the hips back for downward facing dog. Melting the heart towards the earth in this first downward facing dog. Finding some gentle movement here, working out the kinks, working out any tightness in the body. Maybe pedaling the feet, walking your dog, moving your hips back and forth. Letting your head dangle down towards the earth as you lengthen the spine. Seeing your world from a different perspective, from this upside down view. Taking a moment just to flip the perspective and notice. With an open mind and an open heart. Very consciously start to walk the feet in towards the hands, taking as many steps as you need to today. And once you reach your hands, coming into a forward fold here. Maybe you're very generous with your knee bend in this forward fold. And taking the time here to once again breathe into the spots that need more space. Moving a little bit back and forth. And releasing the lower back. Releasing the upper body towards the earth. Ever so slowly, begin to roll up to a standing position. So taking your time here, really feeling each vertebrae stack on top of itself as you come up to a standing position. Taking a moment in this mountain pose to feel all four corners of the feet connected to the earth beneath you. To feel the crown of the head lengthening up to the sky above you. Feeling the shoulders relax down. And maybe in this moment you can feel your heart beating. Your prana moving through your body. Activating this sense of self, of empowerment. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead, reaching up towards the sky. Exhale as you fold forward over your legs, down towards the earth. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale, hands down, stepping back into plank. Pausing for a moment here. Exhale, start to lower through chaturanga. Inhaling into upward facing dog. And exhaling, sending the hips back, rolling over the toes for downward facing dog. Taking a couple breaths here in downward facing dog. Feeling the body start to open up. Walk the feet into the hands, taking a big step. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the earth. Inhale, rooting to rise through the feet. Lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands to the heart, Anjali Mudra. Inhale, sink the hips back for chair pose, lifting the arms up towards the sky, putting the weight in the heels. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands back down to the mat, stepping back into plank. Moving through your chaturanga. Inhaling into your heart-opening pose. Exhale, rolling over the toes, sending the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swinging it up in between the hands. Rooting down through the back foot. Inhale, rise up for warrior one. Exhale, folding down, framing that front foot with the hands. Stepping back into plank. Pausing for a breath. Exhale, lowering through chaturanga. Moving through your version of your vinyasa. And meeting back in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swinging that leg up in between the hands, rooting down through the back foot. Inhale, rising up to warrior one. Exhale, hands down to frame that front foot, stepping back into plank, moving through your version of your vinyasa today, and meeting back in downward facing dog, where we'll pause for 5 breaths. Using this downward facing dog as a reset, maybe as a chance to reconnect with your breath if you lost it. Feeling the evenness in the body here at this moment. On your next exhale, walk, jump, or step the feet up to meet the hands. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, hands back down to the mat. Inhale, sinking the hips back, raising the arms up, chair pose. Exhale, straightening the legs, hands to heart center. Pause. Feeling that heartbeat beneath the thumbs. This source of life, this prana, this inner voice, this inner truth. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding down Uttanasana towards the earth. Inhale, hands up to shins, flat back. Exhale, hands down to the mat, stepping back into plank. Moving through a vinyasa, if that is your choice. If you choose to forego the vinyasa, we will meet you in downward facing dog. Inhale, swing that right leg up towards the ceiling. Exhale, swing it up in between the hands. Place the back knee down. Coming up on the fingertips first to create length in the spine, leading with the chest. Taking a couple breaths here with the fingertips on the ground. If this is difficult, you can bring blocks up to bring the earth up to you. And on your next inhale, start to lift the arms up towards the sky, low lunge. Taking a few moments here to get into this shape, feel into it today. Noticing if it feels different. And once again, just noticing. On your next exhale, start to straighten that front leg as you send the hips back, half splits. Coming up on the heel of that front foot, keeping the back knee down, and leading with the chest as you stretch over that front leg. And using the breath to create and to move into space. On your next breath in, start to come back onto that front foot, bending the knee. And start to twist towards the right, reaching the right arm up towards the sky, low lunge twist. So reaching those right fingertips up towards the sky, shooting energy out, keeping a long line in the spine from the tip of your head to your tailbone. One more big breath here. Exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot, stepping back into plank. And you have an option here to move through a vinyasa once again. Or you can meet us in downward facing dog, where we will all end up. Inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing it up in between the hands. Bring that back knee down. And start once again by coming up on the fingertips here. So really intentionally using this time to lengthen the spine, pushing the chest forward and lead with the heart. We learn on the mat when we lead with our heart, when we lead with our voice, with our truth, we feel empowered. We feel connected. Inhale, start to lift the arms up towards the sky. Keeping your balance on the ground, really hugging the body in towards the midline. Lengthening up through the side body and keeping that belly button pulled in towards the spine. As you exhale, start to send the hips back, straightening that front foot for half splits. Bringing the hands down to the mat. And continuing to lead with that heart forward. And coming back to that Ujjayi breath here. On your next exhale, begin to bend that front knee, coming back, putting the weight back into the front foot, reaching the left arm up towards the sky as you spin towards your left, low crescent lunge. Spinning your heart up towards the sky, reaching up through that left hand. Taking one more breath here. Exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot. Stepping back into plank. Optional vinyasa here. And meeting in downward facing dog. Let's take a big exhale here in downward facing dog. A big open mouth exhale together. So take a big deep breath in. Exhale, open the mouth. Let's do one more of those big deep breath in. Fill up with air. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift that right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing the knee up in between the hands. Place the back knee down. Inhale, rise up for low crescent lunge. Exhale, send the hips back, straightening that front leg, coming into half splits. Inhale, start to bend that front knee, putting the weight back into the front foot, opening up for a low lunge twist to the right. Taking one big breath here. Exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot, stepping back into plank. Optional vinyasa here. Choosing your path to meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swinging the knee up in between the hands, placing the back knee down. Inhale, raising the arms up for a low crescent lunge. Exhale, send the hips back as you straighten that front leg, half splits. Inhale, begin to put the weight in that front knee as you bend, lifting up to the left, low crescent lunge. Taking one full breath here. And as you exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot. Stepping back into plank, choosing your path, choosing your journey to downward facing dog. And once you've taken a breath in downward facing dog, place the knees down, come into child's pose. Bringing that forehead down to the mat. Stretching the arms out in front of you. Giving yourself a little third eye massage here. So slowly and gently massaging that spot on your forehead in between your eyebrows, your third eye, our intuition, inner guidance. Connecting back to that part of ourselves that never leaves us. And your next breath in, come back in through tabletop. Send the hips back to downward facing dog. Lift the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, engaging the core. Bring the knee in, putting the foot down between the hands. Staying on the ball of the back foot, coming up onto the fingertips first to find that length in the spine, to push the heart forward. And when you feel ready, bring the arms up, high crescent lunge. Taking a few deep breaths in this high crescent lunge here. Keeping that knee over the ankle, back leg as straight as possible. And the back leg is doing work just as much as the front. On your next exhale, start to straighten that front leg, bringing the back foot in a little bit, coming into pyramid pose. So folding over a straight front leg, leading with the heart, melting towards the earth. Really pressing into that big toe mound of the front foot. And on your next exhale, start to bend into that front knee, coming into a crescent lunge twist. So bringing the left hand to the ground, twisting the right arm up towards the sky with the back knee off the ground. Finding length here in the spine as you lift, twist the heart up towards the sky. One more breath here. As you exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot, stepping back into plank, choosing your journey to meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swinging it up in between the hands, staying on the ball of the back foot, coming up to the fingertips first. Once again, lengthening through the spine, leading with the heart, pulling the belly in off of the thigh. And when you feel ready, inhale, lift the arms up, high crescent lunge. Dropping the shoulders down, finding space in that low back by drawing the belly in. Feeling the strength of the legs, how strong your body is to hold you up in this shape. One more breath in. And on your next exhale, start to straighten that front leg, pulling the back foot in a little bit, coming into pyramid pose. So finding length before folding over that straight front leg. And maybe you play with this pose a little bit by bending your knees as you inhale, bending your front knee, and then straightening it out as you exhale to move into that space that you just created. Never locking the knee, but playing with finding space and creating space here. Start to bend into that front knee as you come up on the ball of the back foot again and lift the left arm up towards the left side for a Crescent Lunge twist. Twisting from the core, lengthening the body, continuing to breathe, continuing to use the breath to bring you back onto the mat when the mind has drifted off. And on your next exhale, bring that hand down to frame the foot, stepping back into plank, choosing your journey to downward facing dog. On your next breath in and downward facing dog, lift the right leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing that leg up in between the hands. Staying on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, rise up high for a high crescent lunge. Exhale, start to straighten that front leg, creating space in the body as you fold forward into pyramid pose. Inhale, start to bend into that front knee. And exhale, open up towards the right side for a crescent lunge twist. Exhale, bring that hand to frame the front foot, stepping back into plank, using your voice and your power to choose your journey and your path to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, swing it up in between the hands, staying on the ball of the back foot. Inhale, rise up to crescent lunge. Exhale, start to straighten that front leg as you bring the back foot in. Take a big inhale here before you exhale forward into pyramid pose. Inhale, start to bend into that front knee, coming into your low crescent lunge twist, lifting the left arm up towards the sky, taking one big breath here. Exhale, bring that hand down to frame the front foot, stepping back into plank. And for your final time, choosing how you would like to make it to downward facing dog. Taking one big breath in downward facing dog before sending the knees down and the hips back to the heels for child's pose. Taking this moment to acknowledge how empowering it feels to get to choose your journey, to get to choose your path, and to keep choosing. So noticing how every time you have a choice to take a vinyasa, it can be different every time. It can be the same every time. Honoring what you choose, what your heart wants, and following it with confidence. That's a big piece of this practice that we can take into our lives off of the mat. Start to walk the hands back to meet the knees, coming up to sit on the heels, swinging the feet out from underneath you. Face the front edge of your mat and bring the left heel into the groin, straightening the right leg out in front of you. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, leading with the chest, folding over that right leg. So we can use this time on our mat as a time to explore and to be curious about that voice within us that maybe is different than what the teacher is saying, is different than what the person next to you is doing. But learning what that voice sounds like, how we can connect to it, and how we feel when we connect to it. Slowly start to come up to a seated position and switching the legs. So placing the left leg out, bringing that right heel in. Inhale, lengthening up through the spine. Exhale, folding over that left leg, leading with the heart. So on our mats, we physically focus a lot on leading with the heart. How can we lead with our hearts off of our mats? What might that look like for us? Can we practice compassion and patience with ourselves as we learn this possibly new way of being? Inhale, coming up to a tall seat. Stretch both legs out in front of you. Inhale, lift the arms up, creating length in the side body. Exhale, folding over both legs, letting the hands fall where they may. Paschimottanasana. So it's here on our mats. We can become acquainted with ourselves, with our truth, with our voice. We can practice embodying these qualities that speak to our hearts. We can practice living them out, putting human form to them. Inhale, coming back up to a seat. Bending the knees, scooting the hips forward a little bit, giving yourself some space to slowly roll down, keeping the feet on the mat. Bringing the heels in about to the fingertips. Heels about shoulder, hip width distance apart. As you inhale, start to lift the hips up towards the sky, engaging the hamstrings, coming up into bridge pose. So you have the option here to clasp the hands underneath the low back, rolling the shoulders underneath the body to get even a little bit more of a heart opener. Creating the action as if you were pulling your heels back to meet your glutes, to get the hamstrings engaged and to create space in the low back. Breathe. On your next exhale, release the hands and slowly roll the back down, one vertebrae at a time. Bring both knees into the chest for a big squeeze. Opening the legs up, grabbing the outside of the feet for happy baby pose. And maybe you find some play here, rocking back and forth. Maybe stretching one leg out and bending the other. Maybe even you find a smile in this happy baby position. Feeling your heart smile, feeling the heart expand. One more breath here. And on your next exhale, slowly release the feet. Let them fall out straight in front of you. Letting the arms fall to the sides. Letting go of the breath here. Letting go of everything. Allowing yourself to fall in this deep, deep rest. Knowing that I will be here to guide you out. Enter your Shavasana. Feel free to stay in this position as long as you like. But when you feel ready, slowly start to come back to the room, making small movements with the fingers and the toes. Slowly shifting the neck back and forth. Maybe begin to move the hips, wrists and ankles. Maybe it feels good to find a full body stretch, raising the arms up above your head and reaching the feet in the opposite direction. And when you feel ready, slowly roll over onto your right side, finding a fetal position here, pausing for a moment to honor your hard work, to honor your constant inner transformation. With as little effort as possible, push yourself up with your left hand, keeping the eyes closed or finding a soft gaze, and coming into Sukhasana, easy seat. Placing the hands over the heart, left hand on the heart, right hand on top of the left. Feeling this physical, emotional, energetic connection. To the greater part of life, to our soul, to the souls around us. Even though we may be physically apart, this connection transcends that. Feeling into the longing of your heart, the value of your truth, acknowledging, recognizing and honoring this part of yourself. Bring the palms together and bring the thumbs up to touch your third eye in between your eyebrows. Honoring the highest teacher who lives within each and every one of us. The light and the dark within me truly sees, honors, and loves the light and the dark inside each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for day 1 of the Embodiment Series. So this is a series that also continues off of the mat. So I would like for you at this moment, or as soon as you can, to pick a word that you would like to focus on for this embodiment series. So as I've mentioned before, the word embodiment means to give human form to. So what is something that you are wanting to focus on over these next 5 days to embody in your life? What do you think embodying this word looks like or feels like to you? What can you do in your life to embody this word? So whatever is speaking to your heart right now, that is the word that I would love for you to choose to embody for this week. Take some time to journal before our next practice of this series to think about and really sit with what would this look like to embody this word in your life, and what are some ways that you can do that. So I'm excited to see y'all tomorrow and to move forward with this embodiment practice. I love you. Thank you so much for joining me. Bye.